Hello, I'm Alan Chedalawada from the Objectives, another Alan, and I'm going to talk to you about work I do with companies, particularly on the business side. So our company goes in and helps with the lean adoption, software development, lean related to software or Agile, this whole big Agile thing that's been going on. I'm noticing on the slide, so I'm from the States, you guys can't tell. And my slides, apparently I don't spell things the same way, so I use a Z in my organization and I use some different words, so you'll see about that. So I wanted to just talk to you about, I spend quite a bit of time with larger accounts, larger to us. I'm just finishing up an account that spends $350 million a year on software development, and there's 3,000 folks that I'm transitioning over, where about 95% of the portfolio is now run under a lean agile way. And a lot of the effort there was working with business and management, so I was going to talk a little bit about the conversations I have with business. How many business folks are in here? A few, okay. And everybody else is technology, management, technology? Okay. So ask questions if I go too fast. Or if I talk too fast, just ask me and I'll slow down. I'll try and explain. Okay? So I start out by talking about there's no such thing as Agile. Everybody's familiar with Agile? Is that right? Okay. I'm at the right place. I start out by talking about there's no such thing as Agile. There's this thing that we have this category around. It's a category, I get that. But I think it's really related to iterative development. And since that's really hard to say over and over again, I usually say Agile. But when I talk to the business, I say there's no such thing as Agile. You're either more Agile or you're less Agile. Right? So it's really about agility. Can I be more Agile in my investment in software development, or am I going to be less Agile? So everybody's familiar with the traditional waterfall methodology. We would say that would be less Agile. Right? So iterative development, I said it kind of fast, but that would be more Agile. So this category of Agile, I just want to make sure everybody's focused on the real objective is to have higher levels of agility. Right? Now, Agile teams are only as agile as the business and as well as management. I mean, if you're experiencing iterative development, you're noticing that teams will actually start evolving and they'll actually start getting it, and then they'll be waiting for the business to feed them the next set of work, or management will not be removing things that they need to remove. You guys see that case? And so I started asking some questions. Like when I look at organizations, again, remember I'm used to large organizations that have millions of dollars invested in their infrastructure, their IT processes, and I spend some time looking at what those look like to see how suitable they are or how agile they are. And in a lot of cases, I have to ask this question: what's the goal for your technology investment? Is it improve software development and deployment, or is it faster realization of business value? What do you think it should be? Second one. What do you think it ends up being? First one. You look at their infrastructures and say, oh, you have all these dashboards, defect density, lines per code per hour, requirements per hour. You have all these efficiency metrics around writing code. But where's the one on realizing business value? So businesses say, no, it's absolutely this one. IT managers will tell me it's absolutely the second one. I said, well, where's your dashboard on business value realization? Because I see a lot of other dashboards. There's all these process health metrics, there's all these other charts and oversight and governance, but there's very rarely one on business value realization. Now, the second thing is, what does this mean to everybody in here? So I ask the question, what does that really mean? And I get an answer, develop faster. I don't say develop faster. You guys notice in here? I don't say develop faster. I say realize business value faster. So I like to go back and level set with them and tell them, software is useless. People don't buy software. They buy games, search engines, business processes. They buy the value that you get by investing in software. They don't buy software. So we should have a process or a methodology or an infrastructure that focuses on the value. If it doesn't focus on the value, how do you know you're going to realize it faster? And so I want them thinking that way, and I want to transition that to saying, You know, this one client I'm just trailing off, when I first got there, they had a 2,000-step process for software development. And 148 artifacts and deliverables. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, and there's no value anywhere in there. So I'm thinking that's a pretty expensive, heavyweight process, and you're still missing value. So there's big gaps in this mature methodology. So first question is, let's go back and focus on the business value. What is it? How do I know it? How do I know I'm achieving it? How do I know the rate I'm realizing it? So let's just clarify, value to the customer versus value to the business. There's a difference, right? You guys the same? You know, Bob wants an enterprise sales management system. He'll pay me £1 million for it. And Grant wants an enterprise management system. He'll pay me £10,000 for it. Which one would I build? Well, it depends, right? If he only wants one and he wants $2 million, I make a different decision. So from a business standpoint, we need to discover what's valuable to the customer, and then what's going to be valuable to the business. How much will it cost to build? How much will it cost to support? How much will it cost to maintain? We need to make a decision based on business value. So the goal here is the speed of realizing that business value. And we want to go fast and realize that business value today as well as in the future. Not just this quarter. It's this quarter and continuously on an ongoing basis. So we have to pay attention to extensibility. We have to pay attention to maintainability. If I build it, can I extend it? If I don't invest in good architecture or don't invest in good practices, I won't be able to go fast in the future. Does that make sense? So we need to do it now as well as in the future. Focusing on that, if my quality isn't high, am I going fast? No. We gotta stop and fix things. I'm not going fast. So my quality has to be high. Right, so focusing on quality is a good thing, but if I focus on speed, I have to achieve quality. If I deliver value faster, my costs go down. And so focusing on value is what we want to do. So I have to ask this question because in IT organizations, I see too many misbalanced chunks of work coming out. If I can build it and I can't use it, am I realizing my value? So if you go inside of a development organization, if I can write code but I can't test it, am I realizing my value? So we all have experienced teams that are equally balanced in terms of their test and development capability, right? So there's some notion that we have different value on the things that we're doing. We want to focus on, can I use it? If I can build it, but I can't deploy it, I don't get it. If I deploy it and the business isn't using it, I'm not realizing it. So you want to pay attention to realizing it, which is using it. So we define the chunks. So chunks is a technical term, it's the one I use. We define these chunks of value based on what we can use. And then we go and prioritize those based on the value we get. So I want to look at some trends. So this is business value. Short time, I'm realizing a lot of business value. Now the caveat is you have to release to realize it. So bear with me on the fact that I shouldn't release it. So this is a trend I'm building towards a release, but this is when I hit it. This is a good looking trend. Would you guys agree?
Well, it trails off.
So what's going on over here?
Yeah.
Why should I keep funding that? The option is I get my highest value over here and I should stop funding and go look somewhere else. Now in this case, what about this trend? It's not as great as this one. But this is probably practical. I've got some, maybe I'm doing a pilot to see if there's value and then I release it. Or maybe I have some infrastructure work that I have to do in order to get the value. But I'm hopefully prioritizing this, so this is a steeper curve. And again, I get this option of realizing my value, and I can make some decisions along here. Does that make sense? Now, what does this look like? Looks like a waterfall, doesn't it? So we don't like this trend. So they all three hit a high value mark. The difference is I have to wait this long and I build it all before I get it. In this case, if I'm prioritizing, I can stop building it and go look for something else that's got higher value. Right? And across a portfolio, I want to make sure I've got a consistent trend of realizing value. So I want to keep that in mind. Now, this was some